warm welcome to Miss T.L.L. to the English First Additional Language Lessons. I felt the need to revisit comprehension skills and reading skills before we close a revision lessons for paper 1, because now I want us to do revision lessons for literature, that which is paper 2. Right, in our previous, I would link below the description box. I'm going to link previous lessons on how to approach a comprehension. However, I'm going to bring a fresh perspective on this video, and some of the pointers that I felt that I did not cover in the previous lessons that I did based on comprehension skills. Now, to understand and interpret the text you are reading, it's very much important in such a way that you are in a position to respond to questions. So I want us to focus primarily on the reading abilities and the importance of developing what you call critical reading skills before we can go to the questions. This involves processing the words, understanding their meaning, and integrating it with the previous knowledge. At times, you would see a title, like I've said in the previous lessons, that you must interact and dissect the title before you can go to the nitty-gritties of the comprehension text itself, because a topic, if not the title, will give you an indication, and that is where now you can activate prior knowledge, because once you think of a topic, you so many ideas may come, and a topic may give you an indication what is that you expect in the text. By so doing, you are also on the other hand activating your schemata, that which is your previous knowledge. Now you need to combine reading with thinking and reasoning to be a critical or to have, if not to possess, if not to hone that critical reading skill. You must combine reading with thinking and reasoning, because remember, when you go to the questions based on a comprehension, it's a compendium of lower order questions, middle order questions, as well as higher order questions, and the higher order questions are merely based on your ability to infer meaning, where you are now have to demonstrate whether you are able to interact with the text by also providing reasoning and your own opinion without necessarily deviating too much from the text, if not from the context of the text itself. So you need to learn in such a way that when you read, you combine reading with the thinking and reasoning, meaning that from each and every paragraph, you must be able to note down what is that the author is presenting or has presented, and then from therefore, you just pause for a second and then just reason as to why are the facts laid out in that manner, what are the purpose for the facts to be laid out in that manner, or if not in that fashion. Read between the lines and draw conclusions on your own. When you make inference, when you draw conclusions, like when you combine all the reading skills, including skimming and scanning, and then you combine them with your ability to reason and to read between the lines, that is what is called inference in English. And when you make inferences, it allows you to construct context and understand the text easier. The ability to make inference is crucial for an in-depth reading. So as in when you read, it's important to take note of all that I have said in the opening, if not in the introductory part of this lesson. So we are going to take the 2022 November English FAL Grade 12 Comprehension, and I'm just going to take the very same note that I've just unpacked, and then show you how to apply the very same skills when reading a comprehension. Let's start. The first thing that you do when you get a comprehension text is to assess the title. Just spend a second, if not a minute, on the title, because in English First Additional, there's that unique question that examiners love so dearly, where they say, discuss the suitability of the title. So once you have done that at the beginning, it puts you at a better position to thoroughly discuss the title in relation to the context of the comprehension. So the title here says moving towards the fourth industrial revolution. Now, the operating word in the title here is moving, which shows what motion. And then towards, the question is that what is that we are moving towards? We are moving towards what? The fourth industrial revolution. Now, the fourth industrial revolution is the current era of connectivity, and advanced manufacturing technology that is transforming the world today. So basically what comes to your mind as a learner when one thinks of fourth industrial revolution, of course it is technology, but also it needs to talk about the methods, if not the means of manufacturing. Now, because it says we are moving towards, it means that this what comes to my mind, remember, from the title you can make predictions, right? So you read the title, you assess it, you construct meaning from the title before you can even go to the comprehension, and you also make what you call predictions. Predictions, it means what is that you can expect in the text itself before we can get into the actual. So it gives you a sense of idea of what is that you need to expect in the text. Remember, a comprehension is a series of paragraphs that are joined together to construct, if not to convey, a particular idea. So in the title, say moving towards the fourth industrial revolution. Moving, I said it's a motion, but the question is, where are we heading to? We are heading towards the fourth industrial revolution. So what comes to my mind was, one, when you see when I see the fourth industrial revolution, I'm thinking of manufacturing purposes. I'm also thinking of the advancement of technology and how it advances in such a way that it connects the world. Now, once you say moving towards, for me, it gives me an idea that the comprehension will be based on the steps, or it will document rather the movement of the world towards the fourth industrial revolution. All right. Now, once you have done that, at least you've got something from the title. You have assessed the title, you made your own predictions, and then this is where now you can also activate prior knowledge. What is that? Background knowledge, anything that you may know about fourth industrial revolution, like maybe you can think of the advancement of technology or on any other information related to the title that you have previously acquired or learned. And then when you look into the first paragraph, right? In my previous lesson, I spoke about topic sentences. I also need to broaden the scope with regard to topic sentences. That, of course, a topic sentence will be the first sentence of the new paragraph, but it can be in various forms. It can use an anecdote, it can use a rhetorical question, it can use a statement. So you assess also the first sentence of the new paragraph, so that also it gives you an idea of what is that you need to expect in a paragraph. Now let us delve into the first one. The fourth industrial revolution, which is also referred to as 4IR and Industrial 4.0, is paving the way for major changes. And as and when you read, can I pause here? As and when you read, please keep on thinking about the title so that it can be easier for you to connect the two. Major changes in the way we live. This latest revolution may be described as a blurring, you look at the word blurring, of boundaries between the physical, what we see and hear, and the digital. You see now, the comprehension starts to mention the digital, which correlates to the predictions that we made earlier from the title itself, that we expect to read about technology. To read about the digital, which is the internet, cellular phones, and other technological devices, and the natural world. It is the collective force behind many products and services that are fast becoming essential to our modern life. So in the introductory paragraph, once you have read the introductory paragraph, you make small notes of what is that there the paragraph talks about. So you do the same until you get to the last paragraph of the comprehension. And once you can do that, you realize that when you get to the question, it actually becomes very effortless for you to deduce meaning and to use the facts presented in the comprehension and to respond, and how to use the facts presented in the comprehension to answer the questions based on the comprehension. So what I got from the comprehension here was the purpose of the fourth industrial revolution, and slightly the definition of the fourth industrial revolution. And the main purpose that is highlighted in the first paragraph is that it is its ability to blur the boundaries. Remember the word boundaries, it's a boundary is anything that prohibits connection, anything that stops connection, anything that acts as a wall or prohibits any form of connectivity. So once something you blur it, it means that one, you cannot see it clearly. So if you are blurring the boundaries, it means that you are getting rid of the boundaries. You see what I'm doing? It speaks to what we were discussing in the beginning of the lesson, that when you read, you combine reading with thinking and reasoning. But what is important is that you note that the reading or comprehension involves processing the words. So you need to learn to process the words in your reading. That is how you develop a critical reading skill. So you can't just read the first paragraph and then you rush to the second one and then you rush to the third one. No, you interact the first one. You thoroughly understand the facts or opinions, if not ideas, presented in the first one. You make a quick synopsis of what the paragraph talks about. Then you move to the second one. Right. So it means that it gets rid of these boundaries between the physical world, the digital world, as well as the natural world. Meaning that, what does that imply? It shows that we cannot easily differentiate between these facets of the world because we are connected digitally by technology. So I have managed to make what you call inference. You read and then you read between the lines and then you are able to draw up your own conclusions. That is exactly how you make inference. Then you make those small notes that I've just stated, and then there's now you can move to the second paragraph. We now move to the second one. Where did the term fourth industrial revolution comes from? Now, can you see what is unique about this topic sentence is that it's in a form of a rhetorical question, right? That is why I've always said that you must note the flexibility of topic sentences, that they can come in various forms and shapes depending on the style of writing of that particular author. So where did the term fourth industrial revolution come from? It's a rhetorical question. Now remember that I said, as in when you read, play at the background, play the title. The title says moving towards the fourth industrial revolution, and it means that it documents the movement, and there's no way that you can document a movement without giving a historical aspect of it. Now, the fourth industrial revolution builds on foundation laid by the first three industrial revolutions, right, in the 18th century. The first industrial revolution took place when the steam engine for trains was invented, and then factories started producing goods on a larger scale, and people moved to the cities. So what I got here, the inference that I'm able to make here, is that the author here gave us a historical background for us to talk about fourth industrial revolution today. What are those building blocks of fourth industrial revolution? So the fact presented here is that the first industrial revolution took place when the steam engine for trains was invented. Today we're using electrical trains, so it means back in the days, trains were the first train rather to be invented used what you call steam, right? And then factories started producing goods. So we also had factories that produce goods on a larger scale. So in essence, fourth industrial revolution is not only confined to the use of technology, but is also a broader concept that also covers manufacturing means. And hence the inclusion of factories in this paragraph. So also factories grew because they started to produce goods on a larger scale. It means that in larger amounts. So therefore now people move to the cities. So it gives us a good background of fourth industrial revolution, and also a big background to what we have, like your metropolitan cities that people migrate to, because they present growth in terms of factories. And for example, in the context of our country, South Africa, back in the days, people will migrate to Johannesburg simply because it was an epicenter economically with regard to development of factories and mines. So you think of those, and then you not only think of those, but you draw them back to the context of the comprehension itself. So can you see what I mean by reading between the lines? And then you make small notes again in paragraph 2, and then we move to paragraph 3. In the second industrial revolution, electricity and other scientific intervention led to mass production. Now we are getting more in-depth knowledge from the historical aspect of the fourth industrial revolution, where it started from and how it keeps on building up to what it is today. Now, the third industrial revolution, which began in the 1950s, remember when the year is mentioned in the text, it gives you the period and also indicates the time frame. So hence I say that these are historical facts, because now we are mentioning the 1950s. So the emergence of computers and digital technology, this led to a different way of working or manufacturing in industries, as well as in the banking and communities. Now, what the inference I'm able to draw up here is that with the ability of this growth from both technology as well as manufacturing means, this led to the different means and methods of manufacturing industries, and as well as in the banking and communication fraternity. Now, Klaus Schwab, author of the book The Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now, once you see such in a comprehension where an expert in that particular subject that is being discussed is mentioned in the text in a comprehension, you pause, and then you remember that once you see this, this is an expert, is to make the passage to be more, to have credibility, to be more believable, to be more so that it can convince the reader, because this is an expert, this is somebody who has knowledge in the topic discussed, and this is the author of the book based on the fourth industrial revolution. So the mentioning of such, which most comprehension would make use of, such as I remember in our previous lessons on how to approach comprehension, I made key reference to the use or inclusion of factual information, and such as statistics, percentages, which affects it makes me now to remind you that you must also be in a position to differentiate between opinions presented in the text as well as facts presented in the text. And the purpose of inclusion of such facts such as statistics and percentages is to make the text more believable, to make that it adds more weight to the thoughts, if not the ideas conveyed or communicated in the text, and to furthermore persuade and convince the reader to agree with the facts presented, because they are from an expert, like in the context of this passage. So please make sure that you note such when you when you read or interrogate a comprehension text. And this expert is quoted in the text. Now you also need to assess what is it the expert is saying based on the topic discussed in the comprehension. It says, like the revolutions that preceded it, the fourth industrial revolution. Remember now, in paragraph 1, 2, 3, what I got was the historical background of the previous industrial revolutions, such as the first, second, and third. Now we are now delving into the topic at hand, which is moving towards the fourth industrial revolution. So in paragraph 4, now we get to understand, we got the background of how the first industrial revolution started with an engine, a train that used an engine, to the 1950s, where we had the use of computers that changed the methods of banking, and how industries manufactured goods in a larger sum, that which led to people migrating to the cities. That is the information that we got from here. And you realize that all these things that I'm saying, I'm no longer looking back at the comprehension itself. It is because I have done critical, or I have applied skills that develop critical reading skills. So I'm able to still recall the information that I've just read. Now, in the fourth paragraph, not only are we presented with the expert who is an author based on the topic, but also we are now introduced to the fourth industrial revolution. Now let us hear what Klaus Schwab is saying. Like the revolutions that preceded it, the fourth industrial revolution has the potential to raise global income levels and improve the quality of life for populations around the world. Now, remember, this is not only, we can't say it's an opinion, we can equate it as a fact on the basis that the person is an expert, given that he's an author who wrote the book on the fourth industrial revolution. So what he says, let us inference, reading between the lines and drawing our own conclusion. Revolution has the potential to raise what? Global income. Once you mention the word income, I'm thinking of money, financial gain. So here it means that the fourth industrial revolution has the ability to raise the financial gain globally, and then also improve the quality of life of what populations. And of course, if it means we have financial gain, automatically that directly impacts the kind of lives people will be able to live and around the world. So that is the opinion presented by the author of the book here, based on the topic in paragraph 4. Now let us move to paragraph 5. Now, you can remember what I said with regard to paragraph 4, that from the historical background presented in paragraph 1, 2, and 3, 4 introduced the fourth industrial revolution, and I believe 5 will delve deeper to give us the more in-depth knowledge about the fourth industrial revolution. One of the changes that the fourth industrial revolution has introduced is artificial intelligence. And then when you see new concepts, right, please ensure that you understand them, and that is how you also enrich your own vocabulary. You can't just read a paragraph whereas there are new words that you do not understand, and then you continue reading. The text will never make sense to you. So you need to pause and thoroughly understand. Do you really understand what you mean by artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence refers to the use of technology such as gadgets and computers that are presented to have the same ability that a human being can have, hence the word artificial. Because when you look at the word artificial on its own on a dictionary, the word artificial basically means something that is made by humans to mimic, if not to copy, something that comes naturally. So it's not something that you get naturally, it's something that is created by human beings to imitate something that comes naturally. So hence, like for example, the use of robots that can talk like human beings, think like human beings, that is artificial intelligence. So it says one of the changes the fourth industrial revolution has introduced is artificial intelligence. Computers have started to think like humans, and can you see the way think is within quotation marks? It means that not necessarily think, but it refers to their function. The manner in which computers function now can be related to the same way as human beings process information, like humans, and have become smarter. The internet plays a key role in the latest industrial revolution because devices such as cellular phone can be linked to various online applications. There is an application that monitors your health and instantly informs you if you are ill. It is also possible to use your cellular phone to translate any menu, poster, or text from another language into the language that you understand, or to find the shortest route to travel anywhere. In the fourth industrial revolution, the use of robotics means that technology has advanced in such a way that robots could be used in factories, offices, and home to solve problems. Farmers would also be able to place devices in the soil to tell them when their crops need to be watered or fertilized. Now, in essence, what I got from paragraph 5 and 6 was the in-depth knowledge on the fourth industrial revolution and the ability of technology to transform lives, and the examples are presented in the text itself on how technology advances lives and shapes lives. There was also a mention of artificial intelligence that is also sustained. For example, now of late, farmers don't need to stress. They can just have a device that can tell them when to water their crops. We can have cell phones, and this is a relatable I would say passage, because we are interacting with technology on a daily basis, especially as learners. We know that technology is advancing and growing each and every day. So you see what I have done from paragraph 1 up until paragraph 6. Please practice these skills. Learn inference, learn the ability to read between the lines and to make your own conclusions. However, when you make conclusions, don't deviate too much from the text presented. Now, in the next segment of our lesson, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the very same comprehension to show you how then to respond to questions with specific attention to higher order questions. Questions such as explain in your own words. Questions such as do you agree with the writer here? Questions such as discuss what is the conclusion or the concluding paragraph applicable or appropriate for the comprehension. Now, once you have done all of that, you'll realize that you have small notes for each and every paragraph presented. Therefore, when you get to the last paragraph, it's so effortless for you to derive the main purpose. Remember, everything that is written has a purpose. Is the text warning us about something, or is a text educating us? And in my view so far, I would say that this text, the purpose of the text is to educate us on the importance of technology and of not technology, I'm sorry, the fourth industrial revolution, and to document the movement from the first, second, and third, and the fourth, as well as to give us in-depth understanding of what is that the fourth industrial revolution, or how does the fourth industrial revolution impacts our livelihoods, impacts the world globally, impacts the world of work, and so forth. So you do that up until the last paragraph. Then that is when you can go to the questions. So basically, that is how you approach a comprehension text. I hope and believe that the lesson was fruitful, and then you will learn now to practice these critical reading skills where you interact with words, not forgetting to make note of new words, that which are vocabulary enrichment for your activity. Please make note of the new words that are used in a particular line or paragraph. Otherwise, the paragraph will not make sense to you. Thank you.